Welcome back, friends. Today, we're going to be looking into the Near Protocol roadmap for 2023 and 2024. I know that it may sound boring, but trust me, you want to pay attention to this one. It will help us understand what's happening on Near, but most importantly, how are we charting on our path to the moon? Kidding, but seriously. Before we get started, I just want to say that some people may accuse me of shilling my own bags when I create content about Nier. But what I often explain to people is that it is actually the other way around. I was very much disenfranchised and disillusioned by the reality and the state of blockchain technology back in 2019, 2020. I developed an interest and created a layer 1 thesis. I basically started accumulating and playing with many different ecosystems. And from the very beginning, the one thing that attracted me to Nier was the ability to create better user experiences. And what really gets me excited about this protocol roadmap is that not only have we shipped all these features, but that the core team and the Giga brains in charge are actually going way above and beyond what I would have expected in my wildest dreams. It's extremely important for every developer out there to know what tools are available for them and to make sure that we're leveraging to build the best Web3 applications possible. So let's jump right in. The original blog post from Pagoda was actually published back in November last year, but it's been doing the rounds recently because we're getting very close to implementing some of these things on mainnet. So I guess better late than never. The roadmap has two major components: experiences and core. The experiences section refers to the user experience and the developer experience and the protocol features needed to enable those experiences. As an example, if you're an iPhone user and you wanted to freely start using any application built on Near without the need to register an account, the features needed for that would be meta-transactions and Secp256r keys something. More about this in just 1 minute. The core section, on the other hand, covers major efforts to improve the scalability and decentralization of the protocol. Most notably, this features the launch of Phase 2 sharding. Some of you may recall Phase 0 sharding and the most recent stake wars. This roadmap covers Phase 2 sharding, which scales the network to 100 shards with no validators tracking all shards, also known as chunk-only producers. Just for context, right now we have 4 shards, and I don't think we're really even getting close to using 1, maybe 2 if you count Aurora. So this is going to be monumental in terms of scalability. Towards the end of 2024, we also have the delivery of Phase 3 sharding, which dynamically adjusts the number of shards based on demand. These two are important because I recall crystal clear as if it was yesterday, even though it was almost 2 years ago now, that when heavy technical people saw the Near protocol and the vision and the proposed tech implementation, a lot of them had the same reaction: I'll believe it when I see it. There was a lot of hesitancy. It is certainly a technical feat that not everyone is able to pull off, but the caveat has always been, if Near is able to deliver on that technology, that shit's going to be unstoppable. So it's very exciting to see not only what we've shipped over the last 2 years, but how we are tracking for the next 2 years as well. So let's jump into some of these features in a little bit more detail. First, experiences. The first one on the experience side is meta-transactions. Meta-transactions allow a third party to pay for the transaction cost of any account, which means that users can be onboarded to Near apps without having to get any Near tokens first. This actually goes way beyond onboarding, and what meta-transactions allow is for every application to cover the cost of transacting for their users, just like in the real world. Credit where credit is due. The meta-transactions GitHub repo gives some credit to Aurora Plus and the experiment that has been run successfully over at Aurora. For a long time now, users have been able to get up to 50 free transactions per month, and most recently at Denver, Aurora unveiled Aurora Borealis. So every single application on Aurora now is able to cover the cost of transacting for all their users. The second feature on the experience side, which is closely related, is zero balance accounts. As the name suggests, this feature upgrade will enable the existence of accounts with zero balance. And the third one on the experience side is Secp256r something keys. Quick parenthesis. I would like to humbly propose that we do a bit of like a rebranding, marketing exercise here and call this something else, because I fear that the awesomeness of this feature upgrade may be lost and diluted as people think that we're referring to Elon Musk's 76th child or something. So I'm going to put forward a new name. Let's call it Secp256r1, but I'm open to having other alternatives. Leave your comments below how you think we should rename this one. So Secp256r1 support would allow iPhone users to have an implicit account on chain. As always, links to GitHub will be down below, but the way that I believe I understand it, somebody explained it to me at Denver who may or may not have been on edibles, is that this feature will leverage the kernel or the encrypted vault in iPhones. That is the same functionality used currently for biometrics. So when you have your eyeballs or your fingerprints on your iPhone, that very sensitive personal information is actually not sent to Apple. It is not stored in a central database. It's actually stored encrypted within your phone. That's why if you lose your phone, there's no way to validate on a separate device using the same biometrics. My understanding is that the implicit account simply means that there will be a new near wallet created. The private key, the seed phrase, will be stored in that encrypted local storage, and you will be able to transact using that wallet just as you would with any iPhone application. In fact, this actually reduces the friction of onboarding to an even lower threshold than existing Web 2 approaches, because if you download an application today, you still have to create an account for each one of them with an email and a password, or you have to log in with Facebook. But with your Near wallet, you can simply log into everything using the same account. You don't have to worry about storing a seed phrase. This is some of the most gangster shit that I've seen, and the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to make sure that every single app developer out there knows that now there is a way to build on Web 3 with the same level of user experiences or better than Web 2. Next, core protocol upgrades. This is going to be a very surface level exploration because it would probably be criminal for me to try to go too deep into the tech. First, global storage. In the current paradigm, if a commonly used smart contract is deployed many times, the same amount of storage staking cost has to be paid every time it is deployed. As an example, every account that deploys a multi-sig contract today has to pay roughly 3 near for storage cost, even though the contract is exactly the same across all those accounts and isn't really consuming any more physical storage on the implementation level. The global storage upgrade addresses the problem by allowing builders to burn tokens to deploy a contract once, and then every account can use it without having to pay for the storage staking costs. TLDR, there are some inefficiencies there that are being addressed and are going to make it even cheaper and easier to deploy things at scale. That is a key thing that we have to highlight here. Even though we may not have the applications yet, or the volume yet, or the users yet, this is a roadmap 2 years into the future. Everything on this roadmap is geared towards how do we build applications at scale, how do we onboard people at scale, how do we process shit at scale. This is the future of the open web. We're not fucking around with dial-up and EVMs. And then we enter the matrix, running Wasm in Wasm. Perhaps the best way to start to unpack this one would be to look at what's happening within the Aurora ecosystem. Today, smart contracts deployed within Aurora interact with each other synchronously. There's 2 key things to note. The first one is that Aurora is an Ethereum virtual machine, so it's basically the same as Ethereum or all these other EVM clones around the world. But it is an Ethereum virtual machine, or EVM, deployed as a smart contract on Near. And the reason why this is important to note is because EVMs are synchronous, but Near is asynchronous. This is why Near has infinite scalability, because the asynchronicity enables multiple separate shards to talk to each other. They're doing async cross-contract calls. And this is why EVM fundamentally can't scale, because there are some limits to how much you can do synchronously. So in order to enable EVM on Near, they somehow figured out a way to enable the smart contracts within Aurora, so a subsection of async Near protocol, to operate on a synchronous environment. So exactly the same as Ethereum. What running Wasm in Wasm is seeking to do is to have this synchronicity for native Near contracts. And this would be achieved by allowing dynamically loading and executing a smart contract within the execution of a smart contract. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds amazing. I'm going to keep it short and simple because I want to increase the view time on these videos. But let's just wrap it up by saying that all of these features are designed to make Near a better technology base for building usable apps. Yeah, I know, the threshold is that low in Web3. Let me know in the comment section below which one of these features are you most excited about, if you had heard about them before, and if there's anything that I missed. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye.